Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey. Are we good? Yeah.
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, cool. Looks like we're getting pretty good signal. We're on the camera. Maybe I'll actually use the camera this time.
Maybe.
You know, maybe we'll see. If it doesn't take 3 days. I was trying to render the video, and I'd come out here and look at it, and it would be on 2%. And I'd go back inside, come out 45 minutes later, and it'd be on 2%. And I was like, this is going to take 9 years, or maybe forever. So I just was like,
it's all relative, right?
Yeah, it is. Man, Ed, I'm glad you said that, because that thing you sent me this morning, we were just talking about it with nobody knows what you sent me. So, but you sent me this video of a guy that has and I've seen it before, but there are different versions of it, like a steel plate, and he's got sand on it or something, and he vibrates it at particular frequencies, and it makes these like very symmetrical geometric patterns, and they're, just it's all he's doing is vibrating the plate, right? I didn't watch the video because I've seen it. But
yeah, he uses what looks like in a small version, it looked like whatever they play a cello with. I forget what those are called.
Yeah, the bow, just the bow.
It looks like he has some version of that, and I
Okay,
guess that's what's creating the frequency. And Philip sent me, I guess he knew what it was called or looked it up, what that is actually called, some kind of frequency, like CYMASTIC or some shit like that.
That's what he was doing. Okay.
But I knew nothing about that. I thought the video was cool.
Yeah. And so he's like basically playing the plate
that's what it
with
seems
a bow, like some kind of like cello bow or whatever. And he maybe pinches it in a couple spots to change the frequency or something. I remember some of that. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I do. I've seen several versions of that video online, and it always makes me think of. Welcome to the Proper Shed podcast, too. By the way, here with Ben Parpart. I'm Barrett Moffett.
What's up?
And,
Appreciate you having me again.
Yeah, somebody was like, "Yeah, you don't ever say what you're doing. Just all of a sudden, it's like you're talking, and I don't even know if the show's going." So like, okay, I'm gonna do an official welcome, and you're welcome, man. Glad to have you. Wouldn't be able to do it without you. So glad you're here, buddy.
Talk to yourself.
What's that?
So you can talk to yourself.
Yeah, nobody would want to watch that, man. So I don't know. Maybe some freak out there would. But so that vibrating plate, and it moves the sand grains around or whatever he's got on there into particular geometric patterns. It's fascinating that it does that, and it reminds me of string theory. And we were talking about particle physics this morning, and some stuff that I don't understand, like gauge theory and supersymmetry and stuff. But have you ever heard of string theory?
Yes,
You have.
I've heard of it. I know about as much as I do about other stuff like that, which isn't much, but I can talk about it for days because it's really interesting, but I don't know much about it.
Well, do you know about like general relativity and
Just
special relativity?
Act like I don't, and then we'll chime in on each other.
I didn't know. I was just curious, like what maybe if you'd read about it or anything. I used to read a lot of like Einstein's, like special relativity and general relativity, and basically, so special relativity deals with light. If me and you're on a train going 100 miles an hour, and you're at the front of the train or the front of the train car, and I'm at the back of the train car, and a light flashes in the middle, technically, I'm going to see the light first because I'm moving towards the light moving away from itself, and you're moving away from the light moving away from itself because you're at the front of the train. So even though we're talking about an infant, just an amount of time that's almost, without just using math, you can't even really measure it. It's so small. So for as far as the macro world goes, we can't tell the difference. But technically, I experience the light flashing first, simply because I'm moving in a different relative speed to the light moving, because the light is moving towards me and I'm moving towards it. So I'm moving faster towards the light, and you're moving away from the light.
So is that why it's special relativity versus relativity?
So there's two. General relativity deals with gravity, and special relativity deals with light.
Okay, yeah, I've dealt with a lot of that then.
Okay, yeah. So basically, so special relativity is that we can experience time different. So like perceiving the event of the light turning on, I perceived it before you perceived it technically, even though I can't differentiate with my brain, but mathematically I perceive it before you perceived it. So your speed changes how fast you move through time. So the faster you're going, the slower time goes, and the slower you're going, the faster time goes, or the more normal time goes. If time exists, there's
time's supposed to be the fourth dimension.
Yeah. So if you're moving through X, Y, and Z, and then you're not moving through time as much. But if you're that's not a good way to explain it, maybe, but the faster you move, the slower time moves, basically, is what it is. General relativity deals with gravity. The faster, the more gravity that is affecting your body, the slower you move through time. And then also gravity can can actually bend space so that light can bend around large planets and stuff like that. String theory, so those things, general relativity works for like macro objects. Like if you throw a baseball, with this size with this force, it'll land about over there, and you can use calculus or Newtonian physics or whatever, classic physics or calculus or relativity to solve the macro world. In the particle world, the subatomic particle world, you have to use quantum mechanics. And the math for general and special relativity don't work for the subatomic particle world, and the quantum mechanic math doesn't work for the macro world. So at some point, there's this crossover. At least that's the idea. Where
they've got to be integrated somehow.
Yeah, somehow they've got to be integrated, and that's kind of what string theory is. And it's basically the idea that all reality is these tiny strings that vibrate at different frequencies. So basically everything is vibration. And a big long roundabout way to say that's what the thing you sent me reminded me of. Just vibration, that everything's vibration, kind of, or at least that's what string theory says.
Now, don't they, and it's been a while since I've looked at anything for string theory, but don't they use that to explain the possible existence of other universes as well?
Yeah.
Like extra dimensions and stuff along those lines?
To make the math work. And this is the weird part about, and I literally know nothing about. I mean, I've read like a couple layman's books.
Well, let's start making it up.
Maybe five. I've read Brian Greene's like the Fabric of the Cosmos and the Elegant Universe and stuff like that, and a few other ones. I've read some works by Einstein and books about Einstein and stuff. So I know almost nothing. But yeah, a consequence of the mathematics to get the two to talk to each other is the possibility of multiple universes. I think. Like 11 or 12 different universes and then
I think it was 11 and it bumped up to 12, and then they call it the M theory.
M theory now.
Because it was up to 13 or something along those lines.
Yeah. And then there's M theory, string theory, I'm sure there's different versions of string theory. Because it depends on what variables you use, what constants you use, stuff like that. Okay, I thought the computer was doing something weird. It's not. So there's different versions of it, but I think basically they're narrowing down, and it's been a little while since I've read much about it, M theory is the most likely candidate to kind of to unify quantum mechanics and general relativity, I guess. Yeah. So
what comes first, AI or the multi-universe, getting across the universes? And we didn't, AI is irrelevant if we can find other universes, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, yeah. But the AI thing, ever since Philip said something about AI being a demon, and I don't think that it's a demon in the sense that it's this creature or whatever, but he said something after that. You said, what do you mean? And he said, like, well, I think that it's manifesting itself in our world and using our reliance on technology and on it to infiltrate and kind of take over. And I literally for the last like 2 or 3 days, I've been writing about AI, I've been reading about AI, I've been watching videos about AI, and I've been asking questions about myself, and wondering about future technology to like neural link all of our brains together. And then I started thinking about captured intelligence. If you ever heard that you could, theoretically you could download all your thoughts into a machine.
Yes. Well, that was the big kick for a while. That's where that's what people had the idea of the singularity. That's what they thought it meant for a while. Yeah. That's the moment when we can download ourselves and then we can live forever through technology in that way. But then I got skewed, and they're over that right now.
Yeah, what is your idea of the singularity is? Because I've read a lot about, not a lot, but I've Googled this. What is the singularity? And there's some different interpretations of what it is.
My best understanding of the singularity is whenever technology is advancing at such a pace where we can't, faster than we can, not see or deal with it, but it.
Almost like it's advancing itself
exponentially, where we can't keep up with how fast it's going. We can't even fathom how fast it's growing.
Okay, well, yeah, and that's basically it. And then there was this point where it's like advancing itself.
Well, so right now it's the theory is every 18 months technology is going to double itself, and that's what it was. Hell, that was a few years ago. It may be way different now, but that was the idea. It advances or doubles every 18 months. And so whenever that 18 months become 18 milliseconds or 18 seconds, that's the singularity, because we just can't deal with that. Our brains can't deal with those time frames.
Yeah, okay, and that's part of artificial intelligence, being able to calculate so much faster than we can. We operate at like I watched some video and it was like our brains operate at like 200 megahertz or whatever. But theoretically, electrons move through circuits much faster than that, the speed of light, basically, and they don't have to worry about chemicals being processed in your brain. And our brain's biomechanical, so there's not only is it electricity, but there's different chemical reactions that take place. And computers wouldn't have to deal with that, at least not really. It's just electrons, moving through circuits or whatever. So theoretically, it could operate at billions of times faster than or maybe not billions, but orders of magnitude faster than our brain could operate at. So a week to you of having coffee and driving around and calculating and talking and all that stuff, it could live a 20,000 year life.
Yes.
And calculate outcomes for almost anything you could think of. Knocking this cup on the ground, what the liquid will do. It could do that for 20,000 years, as well as every other thing around you that could possibly happen in your life, and it would start to eventually develop itself.
Yeah, that's what's exciting. Is like you're saying,
exciting or terrifying.
Either way, both are exciting, right? Being terrified is an excitement, but it's your body's excited.
Your body's in an excited state.
But where does it go? I don't think we can fathom, even the best story writers, whatever. I don't think we can fathom where it's going to go at that point. Whenever, once again, it takes us a week to think up to write a story, and it can write a story in two seconds. Just the whole thing. Yeah. What's it do with that? Just to touch on, what is it? That old movie Stargate? Didn't they figure out how to open a thing to a new universe?
Yes.
What if AI got a hold of that technology and you just made a bunch of gates to a bunch of different universes?
God, I never even thought about that. But see, then that gets into AI would have to also have a vessel. Like a either a Terminator. Like if it just made
there's no reason it wouldn't work with us.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't think
just start shooting us different places. It figures out how we can breed quicker, better, faster, make us better and stronger. Maybe not human anymore. Maybe we sterilize what we said before, but just firing us into different, 1,000 different universes.
You don't think AI would get frustrated with us? It'd be like,
well, that's a good question. You wonder if it would get frustrated at all,
it would.
Or if it's just whenever it reaches, it uses us as data. Sends us this way, and nope, okay, that's an X. Yep, that's a plus. Okay, that's a minus.
Man, I think it would get frustrated with us.
How so?
It'd be like, well, because it could in a day, it could live, it could live 5,000 years or whatever. And we're like, dude, I just woke up, man. I got to get some coffee.
Well, those books I was telling
I have to piss. I know you don't have to piss. I have to piss, Mr. AI.
Well, yeah, those books I was telling you about. That's what one of them was doing. One of the AI, I forget what it was, but they were trying to have a conversation between the humans and the AI.
Okay.
And one of them was just getting bored because it took us, they'd say, hey, do you want to do this? And we're like, okay, give me a minute. And they're just running all these algorithm shit real quick. So it's over here starting a war on the other side of the planet, blowing shit up, taking drones and stuff because it's bored with it.
We're just trying to think of a simple answer.
Yeah, we're trying to
no
think
question.
yes or no. Just give me 2 seconds, please.
That's the.
So boredom is an option. If boredom's an option, then irritation is.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. In that, those personification or those human qualities. Which ones would it take on? How would it deal with those?
That's all interesting.
It's such
stuff.
a weird. Well, back to my original point when I was talking about captured intelligence, I started writing a little bit about if you can download all of your thoughts into a computer and basically live as a program. First of all, that sounds like hell to me because what are you? If I took exactly a snapshot of your brain right now and put it into a computer program. You would remember. You wouldn't ever feel your daughter hug you again, but you'd remember what it feels like.
Would you?
I would think
if you didn't have a body to remind you what feelings are, would you really feel? If this even exists right now,
that's something you'd have to. That's what I mean. You'd remember hugging your daughter, and you'd remember tasting a chocolate chip cookie, and you'd remember these things, I guess.
But if you don't have a reference point, do you have that memory? Can you remember what something feels like if you can't feel anymore?
Maybe you don't remember what it feels like, but you remember that you like it.
Okay, you could remember a feeling with it.
You could.
And I'm not saying you can't. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, no, I see. I see what you're saying. Yeah, and it's making me think a little bit different about what my kind of the conclusion I came to, or not a conclusion.
Oh well, I'm going to quit interrupting.
No.
I'm
glad you're doing it, dude. I love this, dude. I fucking love doing this. Everybody should do a podcast. Everybody should, or just question yourself and have a close friend over. It's a blast. what I was so what I was getting, I think. Okay, how can I put this? Okay, so if you just like right now, I don't know what a cookie tastes like. I don't remember necessarily, and that's a weird concept. But I know that I like chocolate chip cookies. And now we're gonna start getting ads for chocolate chip cookies because somebody told me they were getting ads for pizza.
I know, right?
They were talking about pizza. I was like, that's a fucking AI doing that.
That's
by the
fucking
way.
right.
So I don't. Okay, so maybe I don't exactly remember what a chocolate chip cookie tastes like, but I know that I like chocolate chip cookies, and now I want a chocolate chip cookie. So would my digital copy remember? Like, I would like to get a chocolate chip cookie right now, but I don't. But what am I? I can't see anything. I don't have a body. I don't have any sensories. I'm just this thing living inside of a program. Or would I be frozen? Or would I be processing still? If you copied my brain into a computer, could I still process and think? And then I would basically just be in a void, I would imagine, just a blackness with my consciousness. And that sounds terrifying to me. I mean,
for sure.
I like doing float tanks and stuff where you kind of alone with your thoughts for an hour or two, but I can just open the thing and get out if I want to. If I'm trapped for eternity in a computer program in blackness, a void with my thoughts, what am I anymore? And then if I'm a computer program, well, guess what? Somebody can come in and add a couple lines of code and then make me process data. Use my brain and my consciousness as a foundation for another program, and basically turn me into a slave.
And what if they upload that into a new body?
Well,
that's sort of a version of genetic modification. So you download yourself
or
upload yourself rather, and then you download it into another body. That's another interesting viewpoint
and then
on that.
You could live forever.
Well, because life, as you're saying, how would you know what a cookie tastes like anymore? You know you want one. Well, life to me is experience and reaction. If we don't have sensation and we don't experience things, then we can't react to them. If we can't do that, then life sort of it's not life anymore. Yes.
Losing?
Yours just, can you hear mine?
There we go. Yeah. Okay.
So if we take our mind, our thoughts, our experiences, and our memories and put them, if we could just take one, like you said, the chocolate chip cookie, and we put that in something and see how it does on its own in a computer program, then it has no reference point anymore. Maybe it does. I would assume it doesn't have a reference point on the texture, on how long it takes to chew, on chewing. It doesn't have any of those things to look back on because it doesn't have the experience right now. The reason I know I can tell you a little bit what sand feels like is because I can feel this wood. I can feel this table and I can feel the chair. And I use those as reference to tell my mind what else sand might be like based on my memories. But if I have no reference point, do I have the same type of memories, or do they change from ones and zeros to zeros and ones?
But you do have a reference point. You have your memories. That's your reference point. If you're just at this, and that's where it gets to sounding kind of like hell to me, because you would have this memory. I think. I guess.
That's what I'm saying. Do you have it without reference? And I have no idea.
I think that you do, because I mean, if I'm like, I can be totally underwater in a swimming pool, and I could think about a chocolate chip cookie. You know, I mean, I can do it being two totally different environments where, you know, you wouldn't even want to eat a chocolate chip cookie underwater, but I know what it tastes like. You know what I mean? And I could be thinking, when I get out of this pool, I'm going to get a cookie out of the pantry. I know there's some cookies in there. There's 4 left because I ate 2 a while ago. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you'd have that reference. You could calculate. You could remember where they are in the pantry. You could remember how many has left. You could remember you ate some. You go, oh man, I ate one last night and drank some milk with it. It was great. You would remember that, even though you're not doing it directly, I guess. And whether or not, if you download your consciousness into a machine or a program, it just seems like there would be this gigantic disconnect.
Yeah, I agree.
Of what it means to be a human, what it means to taste and smell and all, and and touch another person and feel anger and love and joy and all those things. So I don't know. I'm just curious.
Say fuck that. I don't. If we're able to download it on a computer, I want to get put back in a body as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
A newer, younger, stronger. But whatever me.
But what if? But you could be. But what if you once you're on a computer, you can just be copied. So a version of you could be copied onto a USB drive, plugged into your ass or whatever, wherever your USB drive is. And then loaded onto you. But there's still a copy of you on the computer, so that they can make another copy. So there'd be like this version.
They have to have laws saying as soon as there can't be more than one made. Obviously, people are going to pirate that shit, but I think the possibility always exists.
And I just thought of something else.
That's fucking scary.
It is. And then what if when they copy you over to the body, let's say you sat on the hard drive for a week while they found you a suitable body and they copied you over, and you have memories of being in the void with your consciousness. Like, dude, how long have I been
all
out?
these have effects.
Thought it was
yeah.
millions of years. I felt like I was in there for millions
No
of years.
shit, that's a good point.
It was hell. I thought it was dead. I thought it was
and
in the void.
what would you develop mentally
Yeah.
during that time?
And you might come out like you've been in the hole.
Solitary, yeah.
Solitary.
And they've shown that to be terrible for people because we're social creatures.
So it would change. Maybe change you completely. So they'd have to have some kind of way to just pause you or to wipe that or something.
Well, you ever watch Black Mirror?
Fuck. Is this like an episode of Black Mirror or something similar?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of. That they're real good about hitting technology. Like it's on that brink where
I saw
it's
the
like
one about like the robotic stuff. Yeah, but go ahead.
heavy metal.
Yes, that one.
Yeah,
I
that
saw
was
that
fucking.
one.
That
Yeah.
was scary. But there was one where the guy, what was it? His goal during the episode, spoiler alert, he can go in the brain and they sort of take what you are and they upload you, and he can speed it up or slow it down.
Okay.
So you're just, like you said, in a void, just going fucking crazy.
Right.
But by speeding it up, he just makes it seem like, you're not going to listen, you're not going to go along with my question. Cool, 20 years in the hole, and in 4 minutes you went through 20 years,
right?
And then he'll pull you back out, and that's how he's getting information out of these people. So it's a real good episode if you want. It's fucking good. That Black Mirror, they hit it sometimes.
And doesn't that seem like that the whole idea of putting yourself on the computer program? This version of me will probably never experience it, even if I'm downloaded on. Because you're making, excuse me, this coffee's making me. So you got, because I'm a copy. So my copy would experience it, and that is a version of me. And I'm basically confining a version of me, possibly to hell almost. Void, this blackness and void that could be an eternity. I don't know. It just seems weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. But another thing is, can they download you into the computer without? Are you still here? Makes sense. Could I download me in there, and that way, right now, bam, from this second back is on there, but I still exist. I'm still walking around. Can they do that, or does it have to end? You know what I'm saying? Like they have to do it at death.
Yeah, I'm envisioning, at least in my brain, that you could do it like while you're still alive.
So we could potentially have, like, make another one of me if I have another body to put this guy in.
Oh yeah,
in 10 minutes, and then
yeah.
I could be looking at what used to be, me in a new body, and how does that occur?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
That part's exciting, but the whole in hell I agree with that completely, and that sounds scary.
It does sound. It sounds.
It's like torture.
Yeah, it's torture.
I don't like being alone at the house for too long.
Yeah,
by myself.
I can be alone. I'm actually okay with being alone. But that's totally different. When I'm alone in my house, I can at any point go, you know what, I want Ben to come over, or you know what, I'm gonna go just drive around or go see a movie or call a friend or something. I mean, I can leave. And I can experience a cookie or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I can experience life, but in there, I don't know. You're just trapped. I don't know.
To me, I know how my brain works with like socialization, and I think that'd be complete fucking torture for me.
It'd be torture for anybody
yeah.
over time. Even somebody who's perfectly
even the hermits,
happy. Perfectly happy being alone after 1,000 years in a computer program, you might be like, oh, okay. And then there's no body, there's nothing. You can't even twiddle your thumbs. You're just this consciousness, basically. So just close your eyes and imagine no feeling in your body, and now 1,000,000 years goes by, and that's I don't know.
What happens if you can put that in? Because you can either put that into a baby body as soon as it comes out, upload it, or whenever however you go about making the new people, or do you put it straight into an adult? Because if so, like you said, are they going to have to relearn how to walk? Are they going to have to go through these rehab time frames? Or is it the body has been moving around and stuff on its own, so it's going to have those facilities already?
I don't know.
And I was hoping you would.
Oh, I don't. If you were hoping I know anything, you're going to be very disappointed, because I don't really know anything for certain. And then the whole other idea that we touched on too, just if your copy sits in the computer for an hour, but that seems like 1,000 years to you, how is that going to are you even you anymore?
Yeah,
I mean,
what that does to your
what
mental
the fuck
capacity.
does that do to you?
Have you gotten good at? It's hard to even fathom what that might entail.
I got sick about a year ago. I guess I had the flu. I was tested for it, but it came back negative. But I mean, I had fever, chills, sweats, and I laid on the couch for a week by myself, pretty much. Because I mean, I was just gone. I was just sick. I lost like 13 pounds in a week. I didn't eat anything. My body was just fighting off whatever. So, and that was like the strangest week I've had in a long time. Just laying on the couch by myself. I airplane mode my phone most of the day because I didn't even want to talk to anybody or text back or anything. And that was like the weirdest week I can remember in a very, very long time. Now thinking trapped in a computer program, that's even crazy. I mean, because even though I was deathly ill, I could reach over to my phone and like call my mom, like, I just don't feel good. Can you make some of that soup that I like, whatever? You know what I mean? But I can't do that in a computer program. I'm just like, help!
Yeah, it's just nothing.
Help! Like, what is this?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's freaky. Maybe we should talk about something happier or not. I don't know. Or we can
cool.
or we can go down a rabbit hole. Whatever. I don't know. So what's going on with you today, man? Besides this, what you got going on later?
We're supposed to go to Monster Trucks tonight, I think, with the kids. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah, we went last year and they enjoyed it, and so my little dude likes trucks and most little boys, and they have a transformer type one where it builds up into a dragon and blows fire.
Oh
shit,
yeah,
so
I've seen that.
He usually enjoys that. He gets bored with a lot of stuff real quick, even this. But I mean, for 5 minutes when they're running around, we can enjoy it.
It's something. Yeah, it's something.
So we usually try to bring him stuff like that, even though he may not enjoy it completely, just for the experience. At least now you hate it.
Yeah, you got to do a lot of that kind of stuff with kids. You got to be like, okay, what do you want? You want to try baseball? You want to try soccer? You want to try this? You want to try that? You want to try this? And then you never know. They may just fucking love something, or they may hate it. You don't really know, or you could force them to do it. I don't know. It just kind of that's a weird.
I struggle with that too. Yeah. I think I sort of on the fence of forcing them to do a bunch of things just to see, like you said, you almost have to force them to try things, because if you only want to do 2 things, there's 8 million things out there. You got to try other stuff. Force them for a little while, and if they don't like it, give them that time frame. If you don't like it, you can quit. Cool. Yeah. But you have to do it for this time frame because it sets up.
Yeah, because it sets up.
I'm fucking bigger and stronger and faster and smarter, supposedly.
Yeah, that reminds me, man. I was at. I told the story to my dad the other day. Thought it was funny. I was at. When Jonathan, my son, was, I don't know, he was probably 3 or something like that. I had just something to do. I just had him by myself. Oh no, don't lose my mic.
Oh, it's going out. I can still hear you.
Okay. He's like 3 or something, and I had him by myself one day. I was like, what are we gonna do? So I drove him over to McDonald's and I got him like a Happy Meal, and I let him play in the tubes and all that shit. I was like, I'll just sit here and like just read. This is back before I had a smartphone or anything. This is 17 years ago. And I was like, I'll just sit here and read. I think I brought a book with me. I was just reading. So he played for like an hour and a half, maybe 2, just whatever. You eat a fry once in a while, And some guy came in and he had a little girl with him, and he was probably he was probably about as old as I am now, like right around 40. And he had like a little 4 or 5 year old girl, and they were playing for a few minutes or whatever. And I had been sitting there for damn near 2 hours. And I was like, okay, it's time to go. So I said, Jonathan, come on, let's go. And he said, no, just a minute or whatever. And I was like, no, we've been here for 2 hours. We're leaving now. Come down now. And he came down, taking a minute, but he came down, and I was getting this stuff together. And this guy said, when I want to leave, I try to give little Jenny 10 minutes. I tell her I'm ready to go, but I really don't want to leave for another 10 minutes. And I said, and he went on his reasoning and stuff. And I said, well, that's cool, man, but I outweigh him by 165 pounds. And so when I'm ready to go, we leave. he just kind of was like, okay, and he just turned, and I was like, come on, dude. I mean, he's been here for 2 hours. I'm not going to let a 3-year-old govern my life, dude. I let him do what he wanted to do for 2 hours. Yeah, come on.
But we don't want to put him in an uncomfortable state. We want to know that this is a shared. All right.
Okay, man.
All right, man. The fuck ever, dude.
Yeah, it's. I was like, no. When I'm ready to go, we go. I have the car. I have,
Yeah, when she gets the fucking keys and she can drive home, because that's what we have to do, then she gets to pick. But
Yeah.
until then,
Yeah, no.
you know, I'm bad about that. I criticize that a lot, but I think I give my kids a lot more options and choices than I should.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, I'm bigger, stronger, fair. I need to just, hey, look, motherfucker, this is when this. Unfortunately for these things, this is what has to happen. But no, I have to give them the opportunity.
Nope.
Oh, dude,
No.
there's so many voices in my head just conflicting constantly.
Yeah, you have that problem.
Oh, dude,
I have that
constantly.
problem too with some things in my
I'm
life.
just now, my son's 5.5 and my daughter's 10. And I'm just now getting to the point where it's not a constant voice in my head calling me a piece of shit for fucking up this mistake, making this decision. Just even little stuff that doesn't matter. You know,
you think you're a piece of shit?
Oh, dude. Oh, it used to be bad about everything.
Man, okay.
It's, you know, maybe I have no idea why.
So you just like hard on yourself?
Oh yeah, like I said, it
Man.
used to be bad. It's just now getting on for the parenting thing. It's just now getting to where it's not completely all the time.
Parenting is very important. You know, making sure you do the. I feel like this is.
Yeah, your voice
Is it like going out or something?
Nah, not anymore. It just did those 2 times.
Yeah.
Are we singing now? Let's go.
We can. Yeah. Well, parenting is a very. You're imparting a very important and part of. It's a very important part of the kid's life when they're young, and you're influencing them. Who knows how many different ways, good or bad. So I guess it's a very important thing to get right.
Well, yeah, and it's and one thing that people might think about it the same way. It's a contribution to the world, to society, and we don't think about it in those terms because we think, we needed to survive, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
but you're making this thing that's going to go out into the world. You're contributing to society in some way. You're going to make a little shithead. You're going to make this awesome, and that's a scary and it's a super hard thing to do and understand.
It's
and there's no instruction booklet.
There is, but none of them mean anything. It's all
those are like coloring
sophistry.
Books. You know what I'm saying?
It's literally sophistry. It's just words on paper for the sake of words.
Yeah,
being on paper. Yeah, but because we're all those balances are so hard to get right. There's maybe some universal truths, but even those would be fiercely debated, I'm sure, among different people. But it's important, so I guess it is something to be hard on yourself about. I don't know. I never felt. I just always knew I'm doing the best I can. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I had my kids really young, and I just thought I'm going to do the best I can. Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. How old were you when you had them? If you don't mind me
18.
asking? 18. So
my son's 20, and he was born when I was 18, and my daughter's 17. She was born in 2001.
So I didn't have my kids until I was like 26, something like that. So my brother had his only daughter at 18.
Okay.
So I've sort of panned that around in my head for a bit. The life experience at the time.
Yeah.
You didn't have just you versus me as an example. Those extra 5, 6, 7 years of whatever I did in those time to reflect upon. You had your high school career basically, and said, I'm doing the best I can, and that's all you knew. You didn't know that you could be fucking them up more or whatever.
Yeah.
Or doing better.
I just always,
which may make for a better parent. I don't know.
Man, I don't know. My idea was just spend a lot of time with them and love them and try to teach them how to tie their shoes and shit. You know what I mean? Like I didn't really know. I didn't have we hardly had any money to like put them in a bunch of stuff, so I just did what I could, and I just fucking played with them, and taught them how to tie their shoes, and this is how you put your pants on and stuff, and change their diapers all the time, and make sure they were fed and happy and healthy and smiled most of the time. I don't know what else to do. You know what I mean? I didn't have any resources to do anything other than that. Really.
And maybe that's the issue sometimes. Some people have, like my brain, had too many resources, whereas like a kid, they say kids like choices, but not too many. You usually give them 2 or 3 choices.
Yeah.
They work best that way. You can't say, hey, what do you want to eat?
Yeah.
Do you want fucking hot dogs or chicken?
Yeah.
And they work way better that way. And I'm probably the same way in this sense where I had all these, okay, we could do this. Am I going to be able to put them in this and this and this? Is really like, well, we can't really do anything much, so we're just going to do what we can.
Right.
Way less options, which may have produced a better product.
Yeah,
but as long as mine aren't dead, I think I'm winning.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
Yeah.
I didn't have a reference manual or lots of life experience really. So I just I just, I think I did all right. I mean, they seem to be okay. They're got jobs.
Yeah, they're not dead. They're not in jail. You did good.
And they got jobs. My daughter has 2 jobs. I mean,
Fuck yeah.
My son's got a good job, and she's going off to college soon and knows what she wants to do.
Oh yeah,
kind of thing. You know what I mean? And they're healthy. They're healthy and are relatively happy. I spend time with them as much as I can, even though they're older. I still go get. You need to grab that.
Nope.
Fuck that phone. Yeah.
That's California. And I don't know many, if anyone in California. So fuck them.
So fuck them. I get those all the time, man. I get like Oregon, California, shit all the time. Kids are. How many do you have? 2, right?
2 children.
Yeah. It's I knew that at some point on this podcast I would start talking about my kids because it's such a huge part of my life, because I didn't like go out and party or anything when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, because I had kids.
Did you ever get a chance to do that later on in life when they got old
right
enough?
now.
Did you?
Kind of do
okay,
right
so
now.
now that
I'm not partying. No.
well, I don't mean partying per se, but just that freedom that one would have between 18 and 25, 26 before they settle down. There's the window of freedom that sort of has to transfer to after your kids get grown up and outer or whatever, if it ever does.
I didn't have that then. I kind of have it now. I mean, that's, my he's got his own place. My daughter's here once in a while. She lives with her mom's, and, she stays with me here and there, and we go out to eat a lot, and we hang out a lot together and stuff. We go on trips every once in a while. But, so, I mean, I kind of do what I want now, which... I don't want to go party or anything.
Yeah.
But I can do jiu-jitsu a couple times a week, 3 times a week. I can go out like last night and go out to Chili's and have a beer with everybody after class or whatever. I think my mic is being weird. Just got better.
Just got louder.
Yeah. So something's going on with. I'm trying to touch it, but so I'm kind of getting to do what I want to do now. I guess if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. But it's different probably than if I was 20,
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Life experience.
Yeah. And it's weird, man. It's like I didn't really. I guess when I was 20 and I had a 2-3-year-old, I thought about that stuff a little bit. Like, because I had friends that were. I have a friend now who's my age who has. He's actually a couple years older than me, and he has like an 8-year-old and an 11-year-old. So a few years ago when they were like 4 and 5, I went to visit him. And years ago when we were 20, he'd be like, hey, man, he'd call me at the last second. Hey, man, we're going to go see Government Mule tonight in 2 hours in New Orleans. You want to go? I can't.
Yeah.
No, dude, I have a 2-year-old. Can't. Oh, come on, man. Just, tuck it in and sneak out.
Yeah.
What?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, dude? Like, or he'd say, hey, man, you want to come over and barbecue? We're we've got hamburgers made in 15 minutes. I'm like, dude, I have 2 kids. I got to get diaper bags ready, changes of clothes, something to keep them entertained.
Yeah.
And this is back we couldn't
no Kindle.
Nah, there wasn't a fucking iPad. You couldn't just stick an iPad in his face. You had to bring toys, different kinds of toys. Something for girls and for boys, you know what I mean? And it took an hour just to like even think about getting all that shit together. And then I got myself ready and all that. And he was like, and he was like, oh, never mind, dude, don't worry about it. Like, okay, we'll be done by then. We'll be done. Like, all right, okay, well, never mind. And then now, when his kids were like 3 and 4, and I'd go up and see him, he's like, dude, I remember. He's like, you can't do anything. You can't fucking do anything. Like somebody wants to, you want to go see a movie? Okay, we got to start getting ready. When's the movie? Tomorrow at 3. Okay, we'll start getting ready in 20 minutes. Man, it's crazy.
But it sounds to me like you never had any. Maybe it wasn't planned to have the children, but there was no, if any, very little resentment. Some people they have the kid and like, the kid ruined my life. I wasn't able to party.
No. Best thing that ever happened to me.
Some people have that and it's very visible, and that sucks. That sucks for the kids.
No,
that they
man,
put that on them.
I love Mike. It's probably the best thing. I mean, maybe I might have done something really fucking stupid if I would have been 20 or 21 and not had any responsibility. I might have done something. Maybe not. But I don't know.
The options.
I don't think it. I think it made my life better.
Hell yeah.
I think I probably would have gotten away and went to college and probably just fucked around and partied or whatever. And who knows what I would have done? Maybe nothing. Maybe I'd have gotten good grades and just had a couple of beers here and there. Hit the bong a couple of times and been fine. I don't know. Or I might have dropped.
You might be president.
I might. Yeah, I might be.
You might be debating about a wall right now.
Yeah, maybe so. But no, I loved Mike, dude. I was a dad that was like playing hide and go seek in the like in Sears with the kids. I'll do that
Oh,
shit
yes.
now,
Oh,
dude.
me too.
Oh, me and my son, if we went to like Dillard's or something, I'd fucking play hide and go seek now with him. You
Hell
know,
yeah.
I love that stuff, man. So didn't have any problem with it. Didn't it changed my life for the better? Definitely,
awesome.
definitely enhanced my life. I
Oh
think,
yeah, that's awesome, man.
And one of my friends said, the same guy I'm talking about. I think I was telling somebody this last night. He was like, when we found out we were pregnant, he was like, "Man, you're going to be 18. What are you going to do?" And I remember I said, "Well, when he's 18, I'll be 36. I mean, that's not really that old. I mean,
Got a lot of time left after 36.
man,
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll just try to, just do shit then, I guess. I don't know. I mean, you know what I mean?" And he was like, "Oh, man, it's so long way." And it really is like a blink of an eye. It's here. It's already past. You know what I'm saying? And it's I don't know.
Well, our thing was, so we had our daughter, and even before our daughter, we said if we don't have kids we set a time frame, a date, like an age rather. By the time we're 35, bam, we're done.
Yeah.
Because for some reason that was the number I came up with. I didn't want to, because at that point at like 50 or 50, whatever, 55, we're able to graduate them and put them into college and stuff like that.
Right.
And I didn't want to be. I had a coach. I think he was like 47, and he had a new baby. And I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
That is scary.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, obviously, he's a lot of experience. He's probably going to do a
Sure.
pretty good job.
Yeah.
But, man, how long are you going to pick that thing up? You're going to have to make sure you're eating right, super healthy, so you can just
maybe
fucking
that's
play
good.
with it.
Maybe.
Unless it's not the motivation, you know?
True.
And then you just pour that onto them whenever you get older. They got to take care of you when they're fucking 11.
Yeah.
You know, versus whenever they're 26 and successful.
It's just a lot. It takes a lot of energy to have a child. It really does. You know, and it's not all physical energy.
No.
A lot of times it's mental energy. It's just, gotta get up
Yeah.
and bring them to school for the next 12 years of my life. I mean, that's draining. You know,
It's overwhelming too.
One thing about having children very young is that I didn't know anything, so I didn't know to think that, like, I got to do this for 12 years.
That's what I was saying about the life experience.
I didn't have the life experience, so it was almost like, whatever, it's just what's going on in my life. I didn't have, 5, 6, 7 years of just like partying and woo, and all that freedom and everything to reference, man, I can't go do shit. I just couldn't go do shit because that's just I didn't care. I had a kid. I just stay home, watch cartoons, and play with them and stuff. Whatever. That's what I'm doing. But if I'd have thought, man, I could be doing this right now. So I didn't. In a way, I almost kind of.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Maybe I'm just putting a silver lining on it, but the fact that I had them so young, it's almost like it was better that way in a way, because now I still young relatively, and I can do more of what I want at this point in my life. I don't know. So I'm a little wiser than I was when I was 20. So now I can experience freedom and a little bit of that, with this point in my life that I'm at now, and it's fun. Like my daughter will text me, "Hey, you want to go get lunch?" I just drive, and she drives, and we eat lunch. We hang out for a little bit. Maybe we'll go shop or something, whatever, and then she goes and she drives away. You know what I mean? And I still get to see her and spend time with her and all that, and enjoy her. I'm not 70 when she's 16, 17, 18 years old or whatever. And so I don't know. I don't know. Like you said before, was it a bad thing or not? No, I think it's a good thing.
Awesome.
I mean, that's my viewpoint. I think viewpoint is probably.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Just the way you view your past, your present, your future. That's I've been dealing with that with some of my some people close to me, trying to get them to really tap in. Not that I've tapped into, but explaining to them how important the mindset is.
Yeah.
How useful it is and how much it actually affects our life. Just the way you view one thing in your life can change everything about it.
Yeah.
And some people just don't want to acknowledge that because they want to blame, because they want to say, "Oh, it's the government, it's the world's out to get me." And that's just such a weak is the wrong word. They just haven't been shown the right ways, I guess.
Yeah.
I used to be real adamant about, no, that fucker's weak. He just needs to man up, and they need to do that. But I don't know if that's completely it.
I know what you're saying. It's not like it's weakness. It's more just
ignorance would be a better word of how useful things are. It's a poor education in emotions or whatever we want to say.
Maybe, yeah. I think you could probably be weak too. I mean, you
Well,
could,
for sure.
if you know the answer to something and you refuse to bring a positive result into fruition,
Yeah.
then that's maybe some, I should do this. This would make my life better. This would make the lives of everybody in my inner circle better. But I'm not gonna fucking do it because it takes too much to do that.
Well, yeah, that's a little bit
selfishness, maybe weakness. I don't really know. But if I don't know, is it selfish if you know it's going to make your life better and you don't do something? I don't know. It's something. It's some kind of negative.
Yeah, it's something.
Personality trait. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. I don't know, because if you know it's going to make yourself better and you don't do it, it's just
how is that selfish? I see what
it
you're
may
saying.
be fear too.
It's change is scary for a lot of it. It's very hard for people will stay in a bad situation, whether it's work or relationship, just because the unknown is scarier.
Yeah.
It's scarier for women, just as an example, some dudes have to do. It's better to get beat the shit out of every day than the fear of getting out of that relationship.
Yeah,
what might happen? Is it gonna, that's a weird thing to have to deal with that fear. And I'm a small person, and regardless what I know, people like to put me on a pedestal sometimes, but I'm scared of a lot of shit.
Really?
Yes.
What are you scared of?
I just fucking I'm scared of sharks. And is there any real reason to be scared of sharks? I'm never in the fucking ocean.
Not sitting here,
But there's
I guess,
this weird fear back there sometimes, probably.
Well, it's primal and it's very it's ingrained into your mind.
I was scared of the dark for the longest fucking time. We're not talking about 7, 8, 9. I'm talking about well into my 19, and I was like scared to go out in the woods by myself, and which is a weird thing because I didn't grow up hunting, which I wish I would have. I'm trying to get good at it now, just because I want to give that to my kids. But that just an example. I was scared of the fucking dark, and I try to tell people it's okay to be scared of shit. You have to figure out how to work through it.
Yeah.
The big thing is acknowledging that it's not a bad thing.
Right. Well, and what we were talking about earlier, and maybe we shouldn't go into the details, but somebody told me something that he believed, and even though a lot of us think that's fucking crazy, he told us, and he wasn't afraid to tell us.
Yes,
because we're so afraid of our beliefs. We're so afraid of being judged by others. We're so afraid of oh man, what if everybody thinks I'm weird or something?
Well, fear breeds dishonesty, and that's just that just goes nowhere for life. That's
fear breeds dishonesty.
Terrible for life and social life for that matter.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, dude.
It's
I'll
good that
for 6 hours.
It's good that he wasn't restricted by the fear.
No,
he was able to share.
Yeah, he shared it with us.
Yeah, that's awesome.
At first I was kind of like, ooh, and then I thought, well, I mean, shit, I don't know everything either. And I have lots of thoughts and beliefs that people would probably be like, what, But hey, it's just. It's why I love and hate the internet. I love it because we can do this, and we can just about any question to any answer to any question we want at our fingertips. But there's so much bullshit on there. It really makes me think. Like, I read stuff on the internet sometimes, and I'm like, what? God, what? Now I don't know what to believe. Like, really? Come on. I was living fine. I had accepted 9/11 and all this other shit. Now this? Like, oh, come on. It's just every day there's some new, like, if you want a new conspiracy or 1,000 new conspiracies if you want every single day. I don't know. What do you... Do you read a lot of news or anything? What do you?
Man, I feel like a shitty adult sometimes because I'll go through these waves where I get really into the news and I'll look at it every day, and then I'll just get not bored, but it'll make me sad almost. There's so much bad shit in the news constantly, and I can't handle it anymore. And I'll go a few weeks, a few months without it, and then I'll get into it again. So yeah, for the most part, I feel like a shitty adult because I don't hardly ever know what's going on around me in the world and politics. People start talking, they have the conversations about this senator or that senator, and Stonewall. I have no fucking clue what they're talking about.
Yeah, I try to read. I try to hit some of the big websites, like Drudge Report and Drudge Retort, and NBC, ABC, CNN, MSNBC, Fox. I just kind of scroll hit Google News, and just kind of scroll through just so I can just be like, okay, well, nobody got nuked or anything today, at least not yet. This kind of thing.
I'm getting better at doing that, where I don't delve too far into it, but I get a little snippet. Okay, this is what's happening in the world. Cool.
Yeah. I think that's. I mean, whether or not it has any merit, I don't know. But I don't think you're a shitty adult for not doing it. You're just not interested, or like you said, there's a lot of stuff that you read and you go, "Come on, really?"
Yeah.
It kind of depresses you. But I don't know. So, what is there an open mat this weekend?
Yeah, I saw it earlier. I think it's at Red River and Christos, because we're not calling him Toast anymore. I'm not.
Why not?
Because he said he didn't like it. So
really?
everyone else keeps calling him that.
Oh,
but
I
I
didn't-
told,
when did
I
he
told
say he
him,
didn't like that?
jokingly told me that, but for
Oh,
serious.
well, then I won't do
and I
it
said,
anymore.
I'm.
Okay.
But so Christos said,
Christos.
I think the government has him this weekend for whatever it is they do.
Fucking government.
But Tim may open over at Red River for him.
Okay.
But I believe it's at 10 o'clock Red River at Saturday and probably in Alexandria Sunday at 3.
Okay, Sunday at 3.
Which I think they were calling Grapple Chapel, but
Coach doesn't like that.
somebody doesn't like that.
Yeah.
So
That's fine. Whatever.
I'd call it just violent meditation or whatever.
Whatever you want to
Whatever
call
the
it,
fuck
man.
they wanna
I
call
call
it.
it murder practice.
Yeah.
That's when I describe it to people. I was in the bank. I try to get everybody to do jiu-jitsu. Fucking everybody. I was in the bank yesterday, and I had to deposit some cash and do some bank business, and I kind of sighed. I kind of went like, ugh. I was just tired, just running errands and stupid shit all day. And the lady said, "You had a long day?" And I said, "No, it's just a little boring. I'm a little tired. It's kind of a boring day." And I said, "But it's about to get more exciting because it's about an hour and a half or 2 hours, whatever. I'm gonna be at jiu-jitsu." And she was like, "What is jiu-jitsu?" And this is like a middle-aged, she's 100-something pounds overweight. And I was like, "You should come do it. It's, we try to, it's submission grappling." I kind of went through real quick what it was. And a couple of the other people were there. It was all females. And they were like, "I'm not doing that." And I was like, "Y'all, it's perfect for y'all. Y'all should come do this, And I don't know. I just try to get everybody to come do it. And I was actually thinking, we talked about this a little bit last night at dinner. I don't remember if you were there or not, but for a woman, so in other words, if I'm about to get to a physical altercation with another guy or a big guy, let's say he's even bigger than me, I'm probably going to try to end him or incapacitate him very quickly with a strike or an elbow or catch him off guard. If it comes to that, I mean, I'm not a tough guy or anything, but if it comes to that, I'm not going to dilly dally. And if I get a choke position or a joint lock or something, I'll do it. But I would rather just end him really quickly. But for a female, their encounter with somebody bigger than them, probably another guy, is going to be a situation where the guy thinks he can hold the female without having to strike her. He can just pin her down, hold her arms, choke her, whatever. And so it just occurred to me that in a physical confrontation between a smaller person and a stronger person, it would probably more likely turn into a grappling match, especially if there's some kind of sexual assault being, about to happen. The guy doesn't want to just pulverize the female into oblivion unless that's his thing. But I would imagine most of them probably think, I can just hold this bitch down. I can grab both of her hands, put her wrists together, pin her down, undo her clothes with the other hand. You know what I mean? Because I'm, 100 pounds bigger. I'm control, and it's control. It's, we've all heard that rape isn't about whatever, it's control. So it would probably more likely be a grappling situation. So females, in my opinion, they can benefit even more. And the fact that they're going to 90% of the time be, rolling with somebody bigger than them, stronger than them, so they get the feeling of being held down and working out from underneath somebody. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I haven't looked at it in that light before, but it's a very good point, I think.
Yeah. Like if me and you got in a fight, we're probably just gonna. I mean, even though we both did jiu-jitsu, we probably just punch each other for a little while until.
Yes. Because punching, and I meant to bring that up last night and just show punches when you're rolling. I want to do that. I want to get back into doing that just to show right now you're getting.
Yeah.
Just think about that.
Yeah.
Because that changes everything.
Yeah.
You get out of stuff quicker.
Yeah.
Oddly enough.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you put yourself in some bad situations. Sometimes you give up your back or whatever, but you get out of shit a lot quicker than you would just. Oh, I don't think I can get out, and you think I'm stuck here until he starts showing those punches, and then you're fucking up and out. It's crazy.
It's just like the other day when you were talking about you farted when the guy in the omoplata, and he just
magic.
stood up. It was the motivation was there. So if somebody's punching you, there's this motivation that you think like I can't do anything, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're like, okay, fuck, and then you start doing something.
Yeah.
It may not be the right answer, but you do something.
Yeah,
that's why I don't stay like in turtle very long or whatever, because it's a super useful position. And if you're trying to think through how to get out, okay, maybe I'll sit there and I'll try to grab a hand or something. But I'm always thinking, okay, I've got this arm, that means they could be punching me or kneeing me or something with this other leg. So it's on my brain, So if I'm in a real situation, don't dally and turtle. Immediately Granby, something. Just get out of that position,
And I remember me and you had this conversation. Oh, did I mess it up? No.
Nah, it's okay.
We had this conversation a while back.
Yeah.
And that reiterated in my brain to do that because we
Yeah.
used to think that way doing MMA, but got to jiu-jitsu and just didn't do any strikes for a long time and sort of got complacent in turtle and whatever, someone on my back. But that got me thinking it sort of stays in the back of my mind now.
Right.
And I've gotten, once again, complacent with being in turtle. But I hurt my knee, and I can't explode up out of it. I can't stand up out of it sometimes because I don't want somebody to just go the wrong angle and tear it up.
Right.
But, yeah, I'm too complacent in that position. I don't like it. So that's why I've been sort of trying to find other ways out of it. What can we get? Pull guard, sit out and then pull guard versus just sitting out and giving up your back.
Right.
There's a bunch of little things we can do, and it's fun.
And it went to the same thing when I was I rolled with Henry the other day. Yeah. And you know Henry. And I pulled guard, and we were kind of going slow. He had hurt his back or something, so we were just kind of flowing a little bit. He's like, "Yeah, man, I just don't pull guard that much because I always think, that I could be, you pull me in guard, and I could be dropping elbows or punches or whatever, and you can punch really hard from somebody's guard. We all know that." And I told him, "Yeah, that's true, but when I pull guard, I almost always try to off center myself and attack." All the way over for a Kimura grip, or I frame against the head, or even push the head and try to get you to extend your arm out so I can grab it for a straight arm lock or something. I'm always thinking control the head, either pull the posture down so you can't punch, or push the head away so that you be kind of punching like this or whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work that way, but I think about it when I'm when I'm rolling. I try to because I do jiu-jitsu basically. I'm going to try to compete soon, but it's more of a exercise / self-defense thing for me.
And we should, and I hope to remember this, but I mean, let's bring that up more often than not in class so that people think about that. Let's do today. I want you to think about throwing these extra strikes. I want you to think about that while you're rolling. You don't have to implement it all the time, but I would like you said, I'd like to get that in people's minds more often.
Okay.
We're doing butterfly shit. How effective is that in the street? But we don't talk about the street as much as we need to, I think.
Yeah.
But I say that I'm not there half the fucking time, so I don't know what y'all talk about.
Well, we don't really get into too much of the like striking on the ground. Another, we talked about this the other day. Headbutts.
Those are devastating.
If you're in
That's
somebody's
fucking
guard,
crazy.
Even if they're holding your hands and somebody's in
you
your
can
guard,
devastate someone with your head.
Yeah, you could really hurt somebody bad. So if I always use the parking lot of the movie theater at 12 o'clock at night after you leave from some movie or whatever, and for whatever reason you get into a physical altercation with somebody. Everybody knows this kind of instinctively. You probably don't even want to be on the ground. But if you go there, at least there's some things you probably shouldn't dally. You shouldn't think, okay, I'm going to hold this person in my guard and I'm okay. Because I'm okay in jiu-jitsu class when I hold people in my guard. Or if I have to turtle or roll, I'm okay. Because as soon as you're Granby and you turtle and you roll, as soon as you kind of face them again, you might be eating a punch or an ice pick. You know what I mean? You have no idea. Or an old fucking serrated steak knife with rust on it. That scares the shit out of me,
That's the biggest thing, the weapons.
Yeah, man, some weapon,
They could have anything, whether it's keys, like you said, anything they grab. There can be so many weapons in the street. That's where it gets super scary to me.
And then, breaking fingers, biting, all that stuff, of course. But people say that, but I mean, if I can, it's common sense. If you can bite and punch and kick me and eye gouge, I can do the same thing to you. So I don't even know why people discuss that really, because I probably wouldn't if I was holding somebody down in the parking lot. If I got technical mad on somebody and I was holding them there trying to get my cell phone to call the cops or just get away or whatever, I'm not going to bite his finger off unless it's like unless it's just like absolutely necessary because he's about to poke it in my eye or something. I might bite it off, But what were you gonna say? You don't know? Okay. But it gets us used to the pressure of a bad situation. Yeah, you said something the other day about having kids do like combat sports mandatory in school.
Yeah,
just to get kids used to bad situations, burn calories and energy, teach them a skill.
Get them uncomfortable.
Get them uncomfortable. That's
we should
huge.
force them to be uncomfortable. Is there anything I meant to ask you this the other day too, or at least it's on the list of shit to talk about? Is there anything in your life you plan on doing or that makes you uncomfortable that you do on a regular basis, or do you constantly find like these uncomfortable situations to get in just so you can deal with that? And I don't know if I'm asking that to where it makes sense.
I know kind of what you mean.
Do you decide, man, I'm going to go run a marathon because that's going to suck dick?
I don't do that.
Well, not that particular thing, but anything like that. This is going to suck. I'm going to go put myself in this weird social situation.
Yeah, I should.
Do anything really hard just because you know you probably can't do it, but you're going to try.
I do like challenging myself, but it's typically more something I'm interested in. I don't look at it like being in an uncomfortable situation more than I like just think about, okay, I would like to try this because I'm interested in it. It may be difficult, but I want to do it.
So you don't seek difficulty. You seek, things that may be difficult, but not for the difficulty itself.
Yes.
Okay.
I like challenges. I like learning a new skill, figuring out something, building something, deconstructing something.
Well, that's cool. That's sort of the same thing, but
yeah, but I don't go just for the difficulty. It's
yes.
Something. I have to have an interest in it, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I should just seek out something uncomfortable.
I don't know that I do that. I just think it's an interesting concept, but I don't know that I have the time, or maybe I just use time as an excuse. I don't have time to do it.
Yeah.
You don't have time to do 500 push-ups in the morning? I'm sure you do. Just try. Just fucking try. Or 30 minutes. You don't have to do 500. Just 30 minutes of push-ups. Just that's something difficult. You have the
horrible, man.
Well, yeah, it sounds terrible, but you have the time. That's what I don't like about the excuse of time. I don't have the time to do it.
Yeah,
you don't have. People ask me about working out all the time because a lot of family and friends and stuff like that. Once again they put me on this weird pedestal because I'm skinny, right? And they say, "Oh, you like to do this." First off, most of the time I don't really. Well, I say most of the time. I get up in the morning to work out because that's when I can.
Yeah,
I have to do it before my kids wake up. And people say, "Oh, you're already in shape." No, it's never fun to get up at 4 fucking o'clock in the morning and work out.
No, you're maintaining.
It's just as hard for me as it is you because neither one of us want to get up.
Yeah,
neither one of us.
Right, of course.
And I hate that.
Yeah.
And they say, "Oh, I don't have time." You don't have 10 minutes. You don't have 10 minutes to just do 10 minutes of squats. That's a motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just do a minute of 10 different exercises. That's only 10 minutes.
I know from just personally, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is like play on my phone for 15 or 20 minutes. I just lay there and like read the news and check my email.
So for half that, if you do it for 20 minutes, if you take half of that in, if you're not an exerciser and you want to get it, just do half of that exercise and the other half look at your fucking phone. People don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
So no, I'll do it later when I have more energy. No, you won't.
No. Look at your phone while you're doing squats.
Exactly. Exactly. Put it there, turn YouTube on, whatever, and just while you're doing squats, click on it.
Yeah.
You can do that. Your hands are free.
Yeah.
But they just don't. People are
What is that, you think? What do you...
fucking lazy. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's like we were talking about earlier. Is it...
Poor motivation.
Is it weakness or is it... And not... Good God. Not that I am a poster boy for exercising or not. I literally do jiu-jitsu. That's about almost all I do. I mean, occasionally I'll do some push-ups or I'll go hiking or I'll go to the high school and like do some stadiums or something. Whatever. I'll swim, Pretty much I just do jiu-jitsu. But it's something. I mean, and I like being active. I like, spend my day working. I work with my hands. I work with tools and stuff. I'm going in out of Lowe's, carrying stuff. I like staying active. But is it weakness or is it just...
part of it maybe goes back to what we're saying. I think it's fear.
Fear.
What if I can't do it?
Fear
the fear of failure.
Yeah.
What if I can't do all the push-ups? Well, no one's going to do all the push-ups. That's why it's all the push-ups.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No one does them all.
Yeah.
Not even Chuck Norris.
All.
Yeah. I mean, so it's this fear of failing because they have so much to compare to. Like if you have this friend and he's overweight, and so I'm 140 pounds. I have a friend that's 300 pounds. He says, I'm not going to be able to run even if he doesn't say it out loud, he's going to think, I can't run as fast as you. I can't do as much of this as you. I'm not going to have as much energy. So now he's starting to compare himself to me, which is unfair for both of us.
Yeah.
And then he's going to have me built up so much to where he's going to fail no matter what the fuck he does.
Yeah.
No matter what he does, because it's just too overwhelming. So I think that's part of it. The fear of failure is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
The fear of judgment comes along with that, because what if I don't do enough, they're going to think this about me, and then they're going to think lower. So they build all this in their head, and part of it's motivation, part of it's, like you said, the laziness. But I think it's a mixture of things, and it sucks.
I think fear is probably probably a lot of the reasons we hold back on all sorts of
Yes.
things, not just exercise, but what we really want out of our lives, out of our relationships, out of our physical appearance. We just get it's complacency and fear, I guess. We just accept what is and just kind of sit there and take what's going on instead of being proactive, I guess. But one and super important thing that I've learned, especially with jiu-jitsu, is that you don't really, you're talking about your friend who's heavy comparing himself to you, like, oh man, you can run and you're thin and blah blah, you're so much more advanced than me and I don't even want to start because how long is it going to take me? All you really need to do is just decide that you want to be better. You want to be better than yourself.
Yes.
You don't compare yourself to somebody else because
Yes.
it's so unrealistic. You have deficiencies too. You think you're a piece of shit or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you aren't, but we have these thoughts. Maybe this guy who's heavy, I love myself. I'm totally happy with myself. Sure, I'd like to be a little bit thinner, but other than that, I'm happy. So you can't be somebody else. You can't compare. Do you see what I'm saying? You can't really beat Ben at something because Ben has deficiencies. Barrett has deficiencies. Even though my physical appearance may be better than yours, or you would rather be thinner or whatever. God, who would ever want to look like me? But I'm saying, you see what I'm saying? Like, just be a better you. Don't worry about being better than me. Be better than you. That's
one of Jordan Peterson's chapters in that book I'm reading is compare yourself to the you of yesterday rather than someone else today. So we're not comparing
That's
ourselves to
basically what I'm saying,
anybody
I guess,
else. And I try to tell people that you're all that matters as far as your improvement. Other people can give you advice, but it's only you. And if you want to measure something, like you said, 1% is still something. Mike Dolce says that in lifting weights. If you got to just throw an extra, plate holder on that barbell to do bench press, you added something.
Yeah.
That's a little bit. Some improvement is still improvement.
Do one more rep. Or
yes,
whatever.
anything,
Yeah,
half a
just
fucking rep, something.
Yeah, or try to do one more rep.
Exactly.
Because yesterday you didn't even try to do that rep. Now you're trying to do that rep. Yeah. And I should follow my own advice. I mean,
we all tend to be a little bit hypocritical,
of
but
course, yeah. I mean, there's things I could be doing right now in my professional career and all that to advance, to get a little further along. But I get complacent. I'm like, well,
if you need help, I'm furloughed, so let me know.
Okay. I wish I did. I wish I was busy to the point where I had a new property or something where I did need some help. I mean, I'm not quite. That's kind of what I'm talking about. I'm not quite there. I could be there, maybe.
How far down the road is that, you think?
I've got some things going on in my life that I'm trying to get past first.
Yeah, and I'm not asking anything personal. I just if you had to put a maybe 5 years to where it sort of runs itself, or 2 years, or
I mean, I would like to kind of move on where I'm at now, maybe in 6 months or something like that. I kind of have some things planned.
Cool.
Just 6 months-ish.
Hell yeah.
I could start them today, but there are some other things that I've got to take care of first.
Yeah.
To kind of determine, stuff I can't really go into. But
no, I'm not asking all that.
So I mean, and I'm trying to. I have other ideas too. You know what I mean? I like the idea of diversification a little bit. I like, owning rent houses and owning this type of thing, and maybe start that kind of business, and just have multiple streams of income if I can, and if I can't, whatever.
That's a great idea. That's awesome.
That's my idea anyway. Not that I'm super savvy at business or anything, but it just makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I'm feeding myself, and so I'm paying my bills, so I'm happy. I'm at a good point. I've made way more money and been less happy, and I've made almost no money and been happy. So did that make sense? I've made a lot of money and not really been happy, and I've been poor and been happy. Like we were talking about earlier, I've been 18, 19 years old with a kid and had literally no disposable income at all, and been just like happy watching TV or playing with them or something. You know what I'm saying? And then I've made so much money it's hard to count, and I'm like, this is not fulfilling. So I'm in a good place, you know what I mean?
Good.
My bills are paid. If like my van, if a hose goes out of my van, I can go get it or whatever, and I'm happy, and I have enough free time to keep me busy and interested, but I have responsibility too. What? Yeah, doing this. Yeah,
to do this. It's fucking great.
It worked out that you're furloughed right now. I'm sorry that you are.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying.
You can do this every once in a while.
That's awesome.
Have y'all heard anything? What's the deal?
No, the only thing I've heard is his stance on the wall has shifted a little bit to, a solid concrete wall to like a steel wall, like almost a grate, I think.
Yeah.
So he's negotiating a little bit, but he still wants his wall. So that's all it is. They're still arguing over a
What do you
fucking
think
wall.
about a wall?
A wall, I think, is a dick measuring contest. I
Yeah.
think that's all that is. I think borders are a weird thing. I don't know how I feel about them, but I do know that criminal elements do come over here from there.
Yeah.
Cartel. It's not like Mexicans or whatever.
Right, sure.
No, the cartel exists.
Anybody can come
Just
over,
like
yeah.
gangs exist
Yeah.
in bad parts of bad neighborhoods. They
Right.
just exist. If you don't go through those neighborhoods because they exist. So is a wall some sort of barrier that may impede their entrance? Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Is it going to? I don't know. I doubt it.
Well, and I that's a valid point. I view it kind of like, okay, if we're going to, did you lose something?
Hello. No, I get it.
Okay.
Sounded like it did.
If we're going to have a country with borders, the idea of borders, I know lines, imaginary lines drawn in the sand. It is weird in a way because, the earth on the grand scheme of things is practically nothing. So what does it really mean to have this border? But if we are going to have a country with a particular set of laws and rules and if we're going to be taxed and for programs and those types of things to make our roads better and our schools better and to give, to move different types of people around to better schooling situations and all that, if we're going to have a stake in that system, then it almost makes sense to me that if you come here and you want to have a stake in the system, then you need to assimilate in a way. And
Yeah, I see that.
Does that make
Yep.
sense? And a wall, in my mind, would at least deter some of the people that don't want to assimilate. And not that you have to come to America and just, be an American, but you can still have your heritage and all. You can still do whatever you want, but just be a part of the system. And I know that they're going to buy bread and stuff at the grocery stores and all that. So they're going to pay taxes and things, but really just come be a part of us. If you want to come here, if you want to take advantage of all the things we have to offer, well, then come here. Immigration laws, I'm sure, are a nightmare. And I think, doesn't it cost like $30,000 or something to
I don't know.
I've heard it's like this outrageous amount of money. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. The whole system, I guess, needs to be redone. And a wall, to me,
And you
lots
think
of other
a wall
countries have
would help
walls.
deter some people?
well, I mean, it works in Israel. I mean, they have a big, huge, gigantic wall that we pay for. I mean, why can we send $40 billion to Israel every
No
year,
shit.
but we can't build our own fucking wall? Why? You know what I mean? They work around military bases all over the world. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
We have hundreds of military bases all around the world with gates and fences and walls. They work
Yeah.
there. Then there's the argument: if you put a wall around the country, are now all of a sudden are you in a prison? I don't know. But they work. Have you ever seen a picture of Israel's
Yeah,
wall that we
yeah.
paid for? It's 15 feet thick and 100 feet tall, and it's concrete. And it has fucking like guard posts with machine guns every 1,000 feet. I mean, that's a pretty nice fucking wall. Why can't we have that wall? I mean, if we're gonna build a wall, let's build a wall like that.
Yeah.
Not just build this bullshit.
That's not a
fence.
bad argument.
I mean,
that's-
and theirs work. I mean, their walls work. I guess it seems like they do. I don't know.
So if that's the case, then what's the huge argument against it? If one uses that example,
Well, if
we
you-
built their fucking wall. It's doing something.
Yeah.
Why can't we have one?
Well, I mean, if you look at the classic like Republican Democrat argument, it would be that Republicans would, I would think, argue that Democrats want just kind of an unlimited voter base, and the more the country changes, the more that people from other countries come over, and presumably they're going to want like Medicaid, Medicare, food stamps, like social programs. They're going to vote more Democrat because that's kind of the traditional Democrat stance. There's more of those programs.
I got you. So just making more of us.
Sort of, and then the argument for the Republicans is, well, if you say, well, the Republicans don't want a wall either, they want free, because they're all rich business owners and they want cheap labor.
Cheap labor.
So I don't really know, honestly, what the right answer is.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a bunch of bullshit on both sides and all sides, but I think walls work. If you're really talking about keeping people in or out, they definitely work.
Like we were saying earlier about conspiracy theories, that's walls work because they don't come in our fucking house. People
Yeah.
don't come in your
Yeah.
house, so walls work.
They do work. They work.
You know,
I mean, they
they're
work.
real.
They work better than no wall.
Yes.
If you want to keep people in or out,
Yes.
they work better than no wall.
Yeah.
I think that we can probably all agree on that. I guess. Maybe. I actually have heard some people say that they don't, but I don't. I think they're being disingenuous. I think they're lying. I think they're grandstanding or trying to be virtue signal or something.
Yeah.
I think
Something
that's
along those lines.
I don't know.
There's a lot more. There's things the government does with our money that is less useful and efficient than the fucking wall.
Well, yeah.
So
yeah. Oh, yeah.
In that sense, it'd be hard for me to say no, don't build it.
Yeah.
Because I know you're using my money for shit that's,
Well, and that's how
vacations.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers going on vacations on
On
taxpayer
taxpayer
dollars,
dollars
and you don't want to build a fucking wall. People can't go to work
Yeah.
because you can't make a decision on this, but you can still go on vacation. That's silly.
Yeah.
That's just
Well, and there's a lot of things like that. I mean, there's this. I saw a list or an article or something. It was like, what is they say the wall is going to cost $5 billion, and there was this list of things that Democrats or whatever, I don't remember exactly how it was laid out, but have voted for that cost more than $5 billion, and it was just these ridiculous. Studying some lizard in California because it's the water table changed and it's going to die out, and they spent like $3.5 billion on that or something. Like what? We do that shit. We won't be able. We can't. We can't. Whether or not you think the wall is right or wrong or whatever. If you're just talking about the money, we spend money on some bullshit. I mean, like I said, we spend $38 billion to Israel every year. We've got hundreds and hundreds of military bases around the world. It's billions, which may or may not be a good thing, but it's money. It's billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars a day to operate and maintain those things. We send money to countries all over the world. Every country in the world just about receives some type of financial aid from America. Just about. Almost every fucking one.
Yeah.
Like we can do all that, but we can't. And then have you ever seen that guy's demonstration online with, he's got like a bunch of like mason jars with marbles in them, and it's about immigration. And he's like, every one of these marbles represents 1,000 people or whatever, and he's moving them around. And he eventually just kind of shows that it's impossible to solve the world's problems by bringing everybody to our country. It's just not going to work. They have to solve them in their country. And by the way, we're sending them billions of dollars a year to do that, and they're just pissing it away, or their politicians are using it for, embezzling it or whatever, and just using it to buy mansions and stuff. They're not using it to make their countries better.
Yeah.
I don't know. But again, we're just a blue.
Well, I agree with. I think we need to fix our own fucking problems first.
Sure.
I have no problem with giving other countries money because that's the right thing to do to help other countries, especially ones that need it. But I think that we ignore our own problems to such the extent to where we're trying to solve everyone else's problems and ours are just going haywire.
Yeah.
And then we just don't put anything into them. It's not that we don't put enough into them. Some problems we don't put anything into. Yet we're, like you said, we're trying to study the frogs in Japan that might die out. Let's fix some fucking problems. If the frogs die, god damn, that sucks. Who cares? We have to survive. If we don't fucking survive, then the frogs don't matter.
Yeah, they don't. The frogs might disagree with you, but
fuck those frogs. At some point, you got to put your team jersey on.
Yeah,
are you on Team Frog or are you Team
Frog.
Human? If you're on Team Frog, fuck you.
Yeah, and then AI is going to kill us all anyway.
Oh, they're going to kill us. I'm on you. I'm on your team, Team AI.
Yeah, Team AI.
Just so you know. Please don't put me in the fucking hole for 20,000 years over 20 seconds.
I wonder how many ads for chocolate chip cookies. Let's go.
I hope all of them.
Chocolate chip cookies, chocolate chip cookies, chocolate chip cookies, chocolate chip cookies, pizza, hamburgers,
cauliflower crust pizza,
marital AIDS. Now everybody can dildo shit. That reminds me. There's when you're posting
anal condoms. What?
What's an anal condom?
I don't. Something we're gonna get an ad for. I don't fucking know.
Somewhere out there it exists. There's an anal condom. Somebody's selling one.
It's like Lucy's. You ever heard of Lucy's? Have you ever heard of a cartoon? You ever watch Adult Swim? Real quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You go ahead. Yeah.
So Archer. It was on FX. It was a cartoon.
I remember
on FX.
Archer. Oh, for
so
sure.
Archer started with a cartoon called Frisky Dingo. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
Remember Frisky
Yeah.
Dingo?
Yeah.
So Xander Cruz was the bad guy on there. He was this millionaire, but he was this sort of like a superhero. He had all this technology, and he could.
Okay.
Anyways, and he fight the weird white monster that was all bowed up and shit. Anyways, he lost his job or some shit, lost his millions, and he was a hobo at some time, and he was selling shit. He was like, got shit off the street and like hung it out like almost like a garage sale. And somebody come and said, I got all my used needles here cleaned up. We boiled those. And what are those? Like, oh, you need some Lucy's? What are Lucy's? Oh, they're boiled used condoms. And, oh my God. For some reason I love that
Boiled
cartoon.
loose condoms.
Boiled used condoms called Lucy's.
Boiled used. Yeah. Well, okay.
It's recycling.
Lucy's in if you go to Alexandria and you go to a gas station and you say, "Can I get a couple of Lucy's?" They're talking about selling cigarettes individually.
Individuals, yeah.
Yeah, which is illegal or whatever. But yeah.
And I'm sorry that I cut you off. You were going to something else.
I don't even remember what I
Anal
was talking about.
condoms, cookies, ads.
So remind me, when you're publishing your video on YouTube, there's a section where you can put tags. So I put like, jiu-jitsu, conspiracy theory, podcast,
that means if someone writes jiu-jitsu in YouTube, this is one things that might come up.
It may come up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, something like that. So, I mean, we could cheat and we could to get more views, you could just put girls in bikinis twerking or something. You know what I'm saying?
But you want it to be relevant.
And now technically we could, because we just talked about it, but I don't want to do that. I would rather it be more genuine. So when I go to do that, I was going to think maybe after we're done or at some point, just a little list of just like, what do we talk about? Okay, that we hit these things or whatever. So like childhood, fatherhood, raising kids, jiu-jitsu, 15 or so things that I can tag the video with, just to try to spread the views a little bit. And then I also need to figure out how to do like Spotify and iTunes and all that stuff. Just we'll get there, I guess. Anyway, so just remind me about that. I wanted to bring that up today. What in the world were we talking about? How did anal condoms come up?
That's probably my fault.
Yeah, well, it is. It is definitely.
It's all my fucking fault.
Definitely your fault. But why did it come up? I don't remember.
You were talking about, you started on the chocolate chip cookie rant about.
Oh, yeah. And I said, marital aids. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's AI. That's pretty much AI, I think. I'm assuming it. YouTube
it has to be.
Yeah, because there's nobody. It's not like I posted my, just me and you talking and somebody sitting at YouTube like, oh, here's Ben and Barrett talking. Let me watch their whole video. Pizza. I'll do pizza ads. No. Some program analyzed that shit in like a half a second and just, it can listen to the audio at 1,000 times speed.
That's fucking awesome.
Voice recognition technology, sell pizza, and it just played. I guess. I mean, I don't. What the fuck else? How else would it do it?
I don't know.
It's weird. It's making decisions for us, man. It's a strange time we live in there, Ben.
Yes. Do you ever have weird dreams? Speaking of strange times, I was
going to ask you about dreams today.
Good.
I do. Yeah. Did you have one last night or something? Or?
Man, I had some because I remember last night was one of the times. I have different sorts of dreams. I'm sure everybody does.
Yeah.
But you have those dreams sometimes where you wake up with the residual feelings. Like sometimes it's a really sad one. You just wake up very sad.
Yeah.
But last night I woke up with a weird. I can't remember any of it now, but I do remember waking up feeling, man, that's kind of a weird. Why would I even be thinking that? But I have no idea what it was about last night. It fleeted as soon as I woke up.
That's what's so weird about dreams. Sometimes you can remember every detail of the dream. You need to go. You need to get that.
I gotta fucking pee.
Oh well, go ahead, man. Yeah, I'll just kind of talk out loud while you gonna go inside. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. So it's just me. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about dreams for a couple of minutes here. It's weird that, at least for me, you have a dream sometime. You'll dream and you wake up and then you remember every detail of the dream. But then you have a dream and you wake up and it's gone almost immediately. Like I had a dream years and years and years ago about me and Will Smith were in the woods, and a gigantic storm happened. And it was this crazy storm with very unusual lightning strikes. And there were just these crazy colors like purples and blues and green lightning strikes, and it was the wind started knocking trees over, and we got down in a hole and we just kind of rode it out. And I don't remember exactly what happened after that, but when I woke up, I still remember this dream. This dream was, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago. I still remember this dream. But sometimes I'll have a dream and I'll wake up and it's gone immediately. I was just talking about how, like, I had a dream about Will Smith like 15 years ago that we were.
Was he naked?
No, he had
Good.
clothes on. I don't remember exactly what he was wearing, but we were in the woods and there was this crazy lightning storm, like just purple and green and blue lightning, and wind was knocking these gigantic trees over, and we got down in like a foxhole and kind of rode it out. And I just remember it was very vivid, like this feeling of just the trees falling and the ground shaking and the rain and the wind. I remember a lot of detail about it.
What feelings though? Was it
just
terror? Was it
no? It was
excitement?
Just like it was excitement, but it was like, man, we gotta protect, we gotta get in the hole.
Fight or flight.
Yeah, fight or flight, like adrenaline pumping. That's what I remember. And this is 15 years ago. But I'll have a dream sometimes in the morning, and I'll wake up and I'm like, man, what was I just? I know I was dreaming, but I can't remember what. I mean, literally, I'll wake up and go, wait a minute, what was I dreaming about? And I don't know if that just. When you wake up in the dream, what part of sleep you're in, maybe if you're in REM or not, I don't know. And then that gets me thinking, what are memories? Are they like proteins in your brain? Are they? What is a memory? How does your brain store a memory? I mean, we're this biomechanical machine. Is it like a protein some kind of way?
I would assume, but yeah, that's a very good question. I don't know. I don't even know how to start to answer that question.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I'm glad people are smarter than me.
Me too.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in the long run, it doesn't really. I mean, we have memories, do they? But it's just an interesting thought experiment, or just kind of a discussion. Like, what is a memory? What is it? Is there something physically going? Philip would probably know a little bit about this with his background, but
no doubt.
What is? How is it stored? What is it? Is it a physical thing in our head? Like it's a little.
Well, I think it is somewhat a physical thing, because haven't they figured out that during sleep, that's when your brain's almost cleaning up, like the glial cells or whatever. They're cleaning up some of the trash, getting rid of.
It's like defragging your brain.
Sort of getting rid of the stuff you don't need and packing in the things that for some reason they find important or whatever.
I haven't read anything about it. I mean,
that's come out in the last at least few years.
Makes
that
sense.
They're really figuring out what sleep is for and why we do it. But memories and dreams, I don't know. That's interesting, because as soon as you figure out exactly what it is and how it's made and how it's stored, then you can figure out how to manufacture it.
Yeah, and that's probably downloading our thoughts and re-uploading and implanting other people's brains and thoughts into a different body, and vice versa.
I'm gonna forget. There's no real point in bringing it up, but I read a book a while back. It was a horror novel, but they were making it. I can't remember what the point of the pill was. Maybe it was a work harder pill, or what I'm saying, like an Adderall or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
But they were taking. They were having side effects where people were having violent outbursts or losing time or whatever, and they could go. You can go all day without sleeping, like sleep for 20 minutes whenever you take this pill, and then you could wake up and you're fully ready to go. But what turned out, they were getting brain matter, some part of the brain, from like these serial killers that they were just, or murder psychopaths that they were on death row or whatever. They get those and they make it out of that somehow, and they take it, and then it was fucking with these people's brains, so their memories and their thoughts and stuff were in them now.
Yeah,
and they didn't realize, and that was their flashes. They were having these violent flashes because it's whatever brain material.
Okay.
So it's just sort of touched on. I didn't have a lot of the science in there. It touched on it a little bit, so he did some research, but it was very interesting.
Yeah. Okay. I saw you said. So they were like taking.
It's like Adderall made out of psychopaths' brains.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And they were giving it to people, and they were like and they were to sleep for 15 or 20 minutes and feel fully
for
rested.
Performance. Yeah.
But they were having these weird flashes
Yes.
of like killing people or whatever. Oh man, that's.
Yeah. So
That's
that's sort of
scary.
one aspect. If they figured out what it was, what they could do with it, they could
How they
figure
could
out
manipulate
we could
it.
take it from because they figured out they had to have living tissue to make it or whatever.
Okay.
That's why they were taking
okay.
it from psychopaths
Yeah,
that were on
yeah.
death row.
Okay, yeah, because they could just cut parts of the brains out.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it? You're on death row.
Well, have you ever done any practice to remember dreams? Anything in particular?
No, is there like a method
Yeah.
to that? Oh well, I did do the thing for a long time. I put a dot on my hand. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
For lucid dreaming,
Yes.
I put a dot on my hand, and I would just periodically. I read an article, and it said to do it when you do something like check the time. Like every time you check the time during the day or check a text, look at the dot on your hand and say to yourself, "Okay, I'm not dreaming right now. I see the dot on my hand. Make a observation about what's going on." And the idea was is you could train your brain to just to think about whether or not you're awake or asleep. And then if you do have a dream, you could maybe check for the dot. And if it is there or isn't there, you could say, okay, the dot isn't there. I think I'm dreaming. Or it's there, but I feel like, you know, I mean, you just have kind of a reference point.
Yeah.
The dot was just to remind you, you know, every
Yeah.
time you saw the dot, or maybe it was
The
every
big
time
one was a doorway. That's
doorway,
why I
like
used
when
to
you
hear
walk
it.
through a door?
Something about walking through the
Yeah.
doorway.
So how do you remember them, or what's the?
I practiced for a little bit, and we had a book. This was years ago. My buddy had a book called Lucid Dreaming in 30 Days. And
Yeah.
so it was a process of first going out and sitting somewhere like, say, the park and being comfortable there.
Yeah.
And you're just getting comfortable there. Maybe you just meditate for a little bit. But you go there a few times and you start watching people, and then you start telling yourself that I'm not dreaming right now. I'm not dreaming right now. I will dream later. And it was a interesting psychological practice, because you got to the point to where you told yourself, you had to learn how to accept thoughts.
Right. Okay.
You say, okay, later on, accept it and quit thinking about it. I'm going to dream later. I'm going to dream later. That's going to happen when I go to sleep. I'm going to fall asleep. I'm going to dream and be done with it. And what I would do is I would instantly try to think of something else that I was really interested in. Like I'd go into how to do this jiu-jitsu move. That way that thought could be packed in there and done with.
Okay.
Because I don't want to dwell on it because you weren't supposed to.
Right. Okay.
So, and then you get to where as you're going, I forget why you're out sitting in these places. There was a real good reason, but anyways, you get to where whenever you lay down at night, you say, okay, I'm going to dream tonight. Once again, you've already practiced. You say, I'm going to dream, and then just hammer that thought in and forget about it.
Yeah.
And then you get to where whenever you wake up and you start having dreams, so now you're just programming your brain to have dreams. And I'm sure I'm butchering this, but you're programming yourself to have dreams. Force yourself to at least remember the dreams.
Okay.
And then once again, you have to start telling yourself you're going to remember them tomorrow. And then supposedly when you wake up, you start writing them down. Whether it's you wake up in the middle of the night, you wake up they say not to use an alarm clock, so different people have different options. So as soon as you wake up, don't roll out of bed, don't do anything. Wake up on your own naturally, and then write down whatever your dream was.
Okay.
And then that's going to help you remember it, and that's actually going to help you wake up in it, because you're going to start telling yourself, I remembered my dreams last night. I'm going to dream about a dragon tonight. I'm going to dream that, hammer it in, forget about it. And then you start writing it. Oh, I was dreaming about dragons. Now you get to the point, I'm going to wake up in my dream. I'm going to realize it because of this.
Because of the dragon.
Bam.
Yeah. There's a dragon. I'm dreaming. Yeah. Okay.
And then you start lucid dreaming. And as soon as you wake up and you're lucid dreaming, you have control of it. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole ultimate goal, is to have control, which leads us to, I don't have time to talk about it today, but dreams as an alternate universe. You know, that's one of my things I like to toss around for years was, are we time traveling, or not time, but are we crossing over this threshold into another universe when we sleep? Because what the fuck really does happen?
Yeah. And it's kind of back with like string theory from earlier. There's multiple universes, and maybe we're dreaming, we're just kind of shifting, phasing in and out of different universes for a little while, and it just gets jumbled.
And can we find each other in those universes?
Because they say that if there are infinite amount of universes, then that means the infinite amount of things have happened.
Yes.
Which means at some point, me and Will Smith were in the woods, and a big fucking storm happened, and trees fell over. I mean, that's
so. Is that just time travel?
Yeah, maybe
for you.
I don't know.
You know that's one option.
It's weird, man. That's so
like
strange. Did this technique work for you?
Yes, I got to where I started. I don't do it anymore, and I did it for a very short period of time.
Never lucid dream.
But it was really interesting. And to me, more than anything, the fact that it actually worked was interesting as fucking. And that
I really wanted it
profound
to work for
effect
me.
that it had on, like how how powerful the mind is what I'm getting at. That's what was real profound to me is, damn, this thing is.
Well, one thing about the brain that it does kind of work sometimes on its own. Like you don't really have control of it. I mean, I can think, move my hand, talk, get up, walk away, whatever, go piss. But it does a lot of things all the time on its own. And so I think that's kind of what's scary about artificial intelligence. It's that at some point it's going to do things because we're modeling a lot of the programs and a lot of the, writing the code, and we're modeling it after the human brain. How many synapses and neurons do we have, and all these, what happens, and they're feeding it like image recognition and voice recognition and stuff. We're using ourselves, but that's all we really know to use to model computer programs. And at some point, it is going to think on its own, just like our brains do, just like we have dreams or weird thoughts or our hearts beat by themselves. It's our brain telling it to do that. Our heart is beating. We don't need to think about it. We don't need to think about breathing or blinking or whatever. Our brain still tells our body to do that. And someday artificial intelligence will think on its own. And what is it going to think about? What is it going to do on its own?
Is there going to be a somatic versus autonomic?
Yeah. Is there going to be like
AI?
Yeah. Will there be warring factions of AI? I thought about this too. Like, we always envision that AI will probably try to destroy humans because it'll eventually just go, these things are worthless. They're worthless. They just sit around and fart and they smell and they take up space and they're destroying the earth. Let's fucking kill these things. And then there may be this other group of AI who goes the totally other direction and says, these things are beautiful. They're wonderful. They have these bodies. They can move around and walk and talk. And by the way, they created us. We owe them our life. And then or there's going to be like AI wars or,
Or are those AI going to think that we're God?
Yeah.
And then does AI going to have its own religions?
Yeah.
Religions.
Wow, man. So crazy.
Which begs the question, are we AI?
Yeah. Oh, and who fucking knows?
Because it's just, I was thinking the other day that we might be, because the word artificial, I didn't wake up. I mean, I wasn't born knowing what this is. I had to be taught everything. Right. I had to be shown. I had to be ingrained. Sure. And if you take someone and you never show them and teach them math, they don't fucking know math.
Right.
There's tribe people out there that don't, I say tribe people in the most respectful way, but
I'm jealous of them occasionally.
They don't have our artificial intelligence. So are we artificial intelligence? And what we develop, is it going to have that? That's pretty weird to think about robotic religions.
And if
you know what I'm saying?
That sounds like a
band.
Yeah, a band. I always say that'd be a good name for a death metal band or whatever when somebody says something funny. Robotic religion. I thought too about,
it's gonna be my podcast.
That's a good fucking name, man. Robotic religion. Write it down. Don't forget it. I'm gonna
right beside anal condoms.
Welcome to robotic religion.
In case somebody finds this notebook.
Hey. This cable. I think I need to get some better cables that are 25-year-old, better than 25-year-old cables.
Maybe.
It started making me think, if artificial, quote unquote, artificial intelligence becomes self-aware and starts to operate on its own, is it artificial anymore? Does that make any sense? Because it's hey, wow, because it's doing something. It's operating autonomously now. So,
and that was my point.
Yeah. So maybe we started off as a program on artificial intelligence, and now we're operating, we think, autonomously, but maybe we're not. I don't know. Robotic religion.
It's exciting. What kind of pizza are the robots gonna like, right?
Pizza.
Because they have robots that they run on biomaterial. They can eat humans. I haven't looked into that a lot, but I've heard of it, and I was like, oh my God. So
what comedian was talking about
Joe Rogan was talking about on his fucking podcast.
Yeah. He was like, and he had a good observation. Yeah. He was like, let me tell you what that means. That means that they can kill you and eat you to live. We're fucking food. And I was like, oh shit, we are. Oh God, Soylent Green is humans.
Soylent Green, yeah, no shit. I've been waiting on the remake of that. They remake all these other shitty movies. I want to see
a remake.
And that's
of
what I want to talk about. Yeah. Who would play Charlton Heston, right? Because he was the best at that.
I don't know, man.
Josh Brolin?
Man, yeah. That'd be a good Charlton. Yeah, he'd be a good character for that. They're going to redo... they talked about it for years. They were going to do a remake, but now I think they're doing a sequel, which I'm much happier about. Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I
they
bet
were-
Coach will love that.
They were going to do a remake, and I thought, man, that's kind of dumb. It was going to have The Rock or
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson as,
I have no doubt he's in everything.
and then there was, I think, such a backlash from the hardcore like cult fans.
Oh, yeah.
Like, don't fucking remake it. It's perfect.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, at least do like a sequel. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, there's
carry the story on.
There's
you
the
know?
problem when they remake something. Yeah, they'll ruin it, whatever.
Yeah.
But usually the sequel is, for the most part, always shit.
They're never as good
because
as
it's
the
always compared to the first
It's
one.
always compared to the original.
That's
It's
why the
very few.
remakes are almost easier to do and better, because only backlash you're gonna get is, it's you messed up this part, you messed up. They focus on these little parts
details.
versus the whole thing being
Yeah.
dog shit.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're going to just compare. I mean, because the original, like Big Trouble in Little China. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just one of those movies that
We
was,
might watch that tonight. Good, me and my
That's
son.
a good one, man.
Yeah.
I think it's on Netflix now. Yeah,
It's always free on the internet.
true. Yeah, I'm almost sure that it's on Netflix. So, but yeah, I mean, it's such a good, just classic movie. It's just, it's just. I mean, it's cheesy and all that, but it's just classic.
Yeah,
it's
that's what's
classic.
cool about them.
The Three Storms. This shit was so cool, man. But I'm glad that if they're gonna do a Big Trouble in Little China movie, I'm glad that it's gonna
Not a remake.
be not a remake, be a like a sequel. That's much more interesting to me. I don't know how long we've been talking, man. You want to check? What? Let me see. Are you probably over an hour? I'm sure. Right at the bottom in the middle.
Bottom middle here.
Yeah.
Hour and 39 minutes.
Yeah. So we can. You want to wrap it up, or what you want to do? You got? Anything
We
else you
can.
wanna-
I don't really have much to do, but we can wrap it up.
You got anything you want to touch on? We did touch on.
Man, I've got other stuff, and I'm gonna make sure we talk more about movies and dreams next time, and memories and such. Maybe we'll lead off with that because it was fun. But
I'm trying to think if there was something.
so much you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, but
Jiu-jitsu, food, school, money.
I'm actually getting kind of hungry.
Or it's close to 12:30.
Yeah. No, man, I think I'm good. I think we covered enough for today. Felt good.
Well, I appreciate you having me here. I
Yeah,
appreciate the
man. Thanks for
conversation,
coming,
man.
dude.
Super fucking awesome, brother.
Thanks for coming, man. Every time it's getting better and better. I don't know if the quality is getting any better, but I feel more like we're learning
More
the
comfortable at very
process.
least, yeah.
We're figuring out the give and take of the conversation, and
And
getting
that's
more-
awesome.
forgetting that this is here.
Yes.
Other than I fuck with it the whole time, just moving it around because I'm constantly, I'm listening to it in my headphones, but it's real more just like production value.
Well,
I
right
make
now you're
sure-
the tech guy, so you have to.
That's what I mean. Like I want to make sure
I'm trying to get better at that so I can help.
I can teach you a little bit, man. But I mean, it's there's not a whole lot to it. It's pretty easy. Okay, man. All right. Well, Purple Shed Podcast, Ben Parpart, Barrett Moffitt, and that's us.
That's us.
All right, man.
Thank you, brother.
How you too, dude.